こんにちは、ハリケーンフットボールです。今回の教材は、リーズユナイテッドの田中碧に関する動画です。リーズユナイテッドはプレシーズンマッチで、ビジャレアルと対戦し、1対1の引き分けに終わりました。田中碧は93分から途中出場し、良いプレーを見せたようです。私もまだフルでは見れていませんが、いつものワンリーズチャンネルでは、田中碧が入ってからすぐにテンポが変わり、チームが良くなったと絶賛しています。実際にどのように話しているのかチェックしてみましょう。
Well, hello, everybody. Hope you're all doing fantastically well. I hope you enjoyed the watch along. Loads of people over there. Great to see a lot of you over there as well. I think at one point we had 2,100 people over there. You mad people. But we're back here talking Villarreal versus Leeds United. A good outing from the Whites. I thought there was a little bit maybe of negativity in the chat, especially when Villarreal scored. This is kind of what we ended up with when it comes to Leeds United, guys. This just in the bottom corner when it comes to the QR code. It's a sponsor that I'm going to speak to you about in just a second. But I thought Leeds United overall, the composition of the midfield was decent. I think we need to get Tanaka in there for a little bit more of that vertical build-up effectiveness, because it feels when he came on, that's when you started to see Leeds really liven up when it comes to the progressive nature out from the back and the forward passing in effect between the lines, because we weren't really seeing that before. But I thought Stack had a really good start to the game. I think overall as well, when you're looking at the likes of Ethan Ampadu, I think he's growing into pre-season, which is fantastic to see as well. So another goal for Joel Peru as well, of course, who's definitely trimmed down this season. And I actually thought when you took a step back and you looked at the game, his hold-up play was pretty decent as well. Nemecha starting the game as well, which we're seeing a lot. We're seeing a heck of a lot of, which I don't mind whatsoever, to be honest with you. I think he does start maybe ahead of Peru. I think you see that with Daniel Farke's selection as well. Willie Gnonto, I thought Pascal Strauch in particular, when it came to those two, were very, very good. And naturally, are a little bit underrated in a sense when we're trying to look at players of which we're excited by, you know, and you want to look at the new glossy players, don't you? You want to look at Goodmanson, you want to look at Stack, you want to look at players a little bit further forward. But I thought Strauch, especially when you're looking at Everton, where he's going to have to come in, was really good in sort of that first half, was very, very impressive and sort of built on that Man United game where I thought he was a little bit loose in that second half. But Leeds United are naturally missing, in my opinion, that maverick in BILAL. And guys, we're going to get into that guy in just a second. But yeah, and I thought overall, when you were looking at it, the overall picture, I think how Leeds ended the game as well was with certain personnel in there that want to start the game. I thought Aronson had a little bit of an on and off game. I actually thought in the second half he got a lot stronger. But I thought when Ramazani came on, that was the flame really of which we needed in that first half. I thought in the first half we just desperately lacked a creator. We desperately lacked someone with a little bit of drive through the midfield as well, ball carrying ability, and the you know, the willingness to take someone on and drive through the heart and be brave. I thought as soon as Ramazani came on, it was almost the balance to Gnonto, and he came off for Gnonto because it was on that left-hand side, wasn't it? But it'd been nice to see them both together. But where would you have started them both? Because maybe Leeds are now focusing on Gnonto on that left and Ramazani on that left, because surely you'd have tried at least one of them on the right during the game, which Daniel Farke didn't. So maybe that's a little bit of a venture to what might happen, a look ahead, a vision. So wait and see on that one. But I do like that from Daniel Farke. Thought Gabby Goodmanson looked really good as well. In his duels in particular, I thought he was decent. I thought at points maybe he gave that right winger a little bit too much space, but that's if I'm being absolutely picky. But I just know in the Premier League, you cannot give them any space. You've got to be so tight to these world-class wingers, but not too tight because they might be able to get it around you and spin you as well. So lots to take into consideration. I think we definitely missed Jayden Bogle, especially with how he's been in pre-season, which has been very, very positive. I think Jayden Bogle's been one of the standouts, especially, you know, in that Man United game where he was working against the press. He was working in the tight spaces, the pockets, going forward. Defensively, I thought he was aggressive. So we missed him today. So hopefully there's not too much on that injury, especially with Dan James' injury as well, and Lucas Perry, the new goalkeeper signing. But I feel overall against the side, you know, the bookies are predicting in La Liga to be right up there in terms of 5th, 6th position. I thought we really handled it well. I thought, you know, Nicola Pepe, in particular for them in the first half was causing us a few problems. Cardona as well looked very good on the ball. He was the man we were speaking about, Leeds potentially getting earlier on in the window. But I think overall, we know where Leeds need to improve. We're all very, very aware of Leeds where Leeds need to improve. I think BILAL Al-Khanous is a player of which I feel would help Leeds in that vertical build-up. If you've got Al Tanaka, who has to be in there, and building up through him, I think you can see the class of Al Tanaka and how we're able to really effectively find the forward players with Tanaka in there. He's able to disguise his passes. He's able to throw in a few feints before passing it as well with his left or right foot. And there was an instant change, I thought, when he came on in terms of the tempo. So I feel with Stack and Ampadu, they had a good game. But I think when you're actually looking at it now, we've taken a step back and looked at pre-season, you kind of have to have a Tanaka in there to build up through the middle. Now, if you don't have that and you maybe have someone like BILAL who's dropping a little bit deeper and then Stack and Ampadu can find him in the half spaces, that aids Leeds United as well. That's taking the responsibility off our Tanaka a little bit, especially if you're going to put maybe BILAL in that number 8 position, and not go further forward. He's going to be really good in that midfield sort of, conversation, especially if he's partnered with Al Tanaka. Leeds will be able to get into the thirds really quickly, because I thought out of the defensive third into the attacking third, because I thought sometimes in that first half Leeds were a little bit slow in terms of ball progression. Now with Tanaka in there and BILAL it'll be a lot quicker. But then it feels like you then kind of have to have maybe a little bit more of a quicker centre forward as well, because BILAL is naturally going to be splitting the right back and the centre back and the centre back and the left back. A Leicester fan came into the chat a little bit earlier on. He said, mate, he's top 6 quality. He is top 6 quality. He created 42 chances for Leicester last season. Unfortunately, if you've not got the quality and calibre in and around him from an offensive standpoint, you're going to really struggle there. And I don't think they have the players in to protect him as well thoroughly, and Ndidi and Skip. So it can't just be protectors. It's got to be facilitators as well in terms of just aiding him, getting him the ball and allowing him to be the creator that he is. So I think Leeds missed a bit of a maverick in there. I'll be brutally honest. Today, I think it was pretty clear. But I'm happy with what we're seeing. I think, there's evident partnerships in there. I think there's a lot to be positive about. And when you kind of look at it overall with how we started and how we ended the game, a lot, people might be a little bit critical to Villarreal's goal. I thought Villarreal's goal was really good, but I thought there's positives when it comes to some of our development in and around the sort of playing squad. What I would say is there was, I would say overall, there was maybe 3 or 4 standout performances. I thought the set plays were a little bit of an improvement as well, something to focus on from an attacking standpoint. But I think we need to increase on that front in terms of volume and being effective with set pieces with the size of the players that we have, especially with BR, with Stack. Maybe you just need someone with a good delivery, putting the ball in there, and maybe a Maverick coming in would aid that. So we'll have to wait and see. Leeds are in a stage right now where players have to come in. I think when you do look at the overall standpoint of our attack, when you're looking at Ramazani, there is one player right now in that attack who brings you that pace, who brings that ball carrying, who attacks the centre of the pitch and brings that tenacity for me, and it is Ramazani. I think the manager has to treat him in a way where he's giving him more minutes this season. I think that has to happen, and that is up to Daniel Farke, because you've got a real weapon there, and you've seen that through pre-season as well, where he's been really effective and sharp. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Make sure you're checking out Tester Up, and I will see you in a bit, guys. Cheers.
次は解説です。今回もコナーの話すスピードが猛烈に速く、時々文法も崩しながら話しているので、なかなか聞き取るのも難しかったです。ボキャブラリーは簡単なものがほとんどですが、本日の解説をチェックしてみましょ
う。That's when you started to see Leeds really liven up.
ライブンアップは何かの場面や人の雰囲気に活気、エネルギー、楽しさを与えるという意味のフレーズです。日常会話ではパーティーを盛り上げる、空気を明るくする、元気にさせるなどのシーンでよく使われます。主語は人だけでなく、音楽、話、イベントなどになることもあり、状況を活性化させるポジティブな作用を示します。チアアップよりも範囲が広く、雰囲気、空間なども対象になるのが特徴です。
And that's when you started to see Leeds really liven up. And that's when you started to see Leeds really liven up. Well, of course, who's definitely trimmed down this season.
トリムダウンは、体や組織、計画などをスリムにするや引き締めるというイメージの駆動詞です。特にダイエットやトレーニングの文脈では、体を絞るという意味で使われ、ビジネスでは予算や計画を削減するという意味になります。トリムは切り揃えるや整えるといった意味を持つ動詞で、そこにダウンがつくことで減らす、小さくするニュアンスが強調されます。ネイティブが自然に使う表現なので、文脈に応じて体を引き締めるや削減するなどと訳すと良いでしょ
う。Well, of course, who's definitely trimmed down this season. Of course, who's definitely trimmed down this season. And you want to look at the new glossy players, don't you?
グロシーは、光沢があるや、ツヤツヤしたといった視覚的な特徴を表す形容詞ですが、文脈によっては、見かけ倒しや派手だが内容が薄いという少しネガティブな意味にもなります。例えば雑誌やポスターのグロシーは高級感や鮮やかさを示しますが、映画や広告に使われると、派手なだけで本質がないという批判的な意味合いになることもあります。ビジュアルが印象的なもの、あるいは外見重視なものに対して使われることが多いので、ポジティブにもネガティブにも使える表現として覚えておくと便利です。
You know, and you want to look at the new glossy players, don't you? You know, and you want to look at the new glossy players, don't you? He's able to disguise his passes.
ディスガイズは、本当の姿を隠すことを意味する単語で、物理的にも心理的にも使えるのが特徴です。例えば、スパイが変装するのもディスガイズで、感情や意図をごまかすや隠すという意味でも使われます。名詞として、変装や偽りの外見。動詞として、隠すやごまかすと幅広く使える単語です。日常会話、ビジネス、映画、ドラマなどあらゆる場面でよく登場します。
He's able to disguise his passes. He's able to disguise his passes. So I think Leeds missed a bit of a maverick in there.
マーベリックという単語は他人と同じ道を行かず、自分だけのやり方を貫く人を意味します。褒め言葉としても使われることが多く、ビジネス、科学、芸術などの分野で、独創的、革新的、自由な発想を持つ人として称賛されます。ただし、時には頑固や協調性がないといった否定的なニュアンスも含むことがあるので、文脈を見極めることが大切です。映画、トップガンの主人公のコードネーム、マーベリックでも有名です。
So I think Leeds missed a bit of a maverick in there. I'll be brutally honest today.
ブルータリは、ブルータルの副詞形で、主に2つの使い方があります。1つ目は、暴力的にや残酷にという物理的、直接的な意味。もう1つは、率直すぎるや厳しすぎるといった比喩的な意味です。特に、ブルータリオーネストという表現はよく使われ、自分の意見を隠さずにストレートに伝える際の前置きとして使われます。状況によってポジティブにもネガティブにもなり得る表現なので注意が必要です。
I'll be brutally honest today, and brings that tenacity for me, and it is Ramazani.
テナシティは、簡単に諦めずに物事をやり抜く、粘り強さや根気を表す名詞です。スポーツやビジネスの文脈でよく使われ、失敗や困難にも屈しない姿勢を称賛するときに使われます。似た意味の単語には、パーシスタンスやデターミネーションがありますが、テナシティは特にしつこいほどの根気や執念を強調する表現です。前向きな意味で使われることが多く、努力や挑戦を語る際にはぴったりの単語です。
And brings that tenacity for me, and it is Ramazani. And brings that tenacity for me, and it is Ramazani.
いかがでしたか？リーズユナイテッドはプレシーズンも残り AC ミラン戦を残すのみとなりますが、中盤の選択肢としては、スタックやロングスタッフの方が序列が上なのかもしれません。完全には序列が分かっていないのかもしれませんが、田中碧は明らかに他の選手にはない強みがあり、特にオンザボールでのボールの回し方やテンポの作り方、そして前進する際のパスそのものや、ポジションや動き方、さらに周りの動かし方まで、チーム全体のペースを司るような役割は、明らかに田中碧が優れていることが、リーズファンもよく分かっているのでしょう。最初の序列はどうなるかわからないものの、途中出場でもローテーションでも、明らかに出番があるでしょうし、サブの中でも最も出番が来るようなポジションにはいると思いますので、まずは、プレシーズンの最終戦である AC ミラン戦を楽しみにしたいと思います。本日もご視聴いただきありがとうございました。またすぐにお会いしましょう。